Today I'm going to be recreating a track thanks to a suggestion from one of the comments that you leave on one of my videos. This is actually one by Mike Karaoke, who suggested me to recreate the track "The Sun Always Shines on TV." This was, let me tell you, a big challenge. I didn't expect the level of complexity and arrangements on this track. So when I started actually working on it, I find out like how complex was this song. So I'm gonna be using some of my usual suspect instruments like the LinnDrum, the Juno-60. Someone also suggested to make a video using mostly Logic Pro. I'm going to be using that. I'm going to be using MIDI synths, and I'm going to be using the plugins that are featured in Logic Pro. So I hope you like this video, and I wanted to skip actually the whole history of the band because it is more important to just jump in straight to the song, dissect all the instruments. There are so many instruments and layers more than instruments in this track. There is a big intro that is almost 1 minute long, then followed by the main track. And there's many little things that are featured in this track. So I found interesting also that this track is a little overshadowed by Take On Me, because I think actually this song is way more rich in terms of sound. I have to tell you that after working on this track, I like it maybe more than Take On Me, and I love Take On Me. But I think it was a great thing to dig into this track. So thank you, Mike, for that. And you know, the other thing is that there aren't many videos actually recreating "The Sun Always Shines on TV." I kind of imagine why there are not, because it is a way more complex track than Take On Me. But let me know in the comments what you think about that, if I'm just being crazy or not. What song you like best, if you like "The Sun Always Shines on TV" or "Take On Me." But I like both of them, but yeah, I think I have a lot of respect now for this track. So let's jump in to Logic Pro and start dissecting this track. Let's start with the intro of the track, which is the piano. I have to double the piano because the style is a little bit like a pianola kind of type. So I did a little bit of trickery here. I don't know if doubling a piano is a good thing to do, but this is not an exact recreation, but I'm trying to do my best to get as close as possible. So this is a piano that I took from Logic, the Studio Grand. I really didn't do much in here. So this is a piano. And then I added some elements in here. A little overdrive. I equalized it. Took a lot of
the bass. A lot of delay. A little vibrato. And I added this rotor too, which is like a little redundant because both are to use for the Hammond, but honestly, sometimes I just if it sounds good, I'm just gonna go with that, and I like to experiment a lot using different plugins, so that's what I used. And then I like the body of this because there's some bass in the original track, but there's also a nasal sound that is probably a filter. So for that, I use a fuzz wah. I use the same delay and I equalize it the same way, the same overdrive. So the only thing that I added was the wah. So this is the version without the bass sound. But then I included this one. There's so many layers in this track, so and again I have to use violins, but I have to use different sounds and put different effects on that and different pads you're gonna hear. So now that we have the piano, let's go with the analog waves. So when the song begins, there is a very nice pad. There's a lot of effects here. Actually, I took out some of the plugins that were included in this sound. I'm using the retro synth here, and I have to manipulate this as well. I have to actually expand some of the filter, the amp, and make it a little more a little less bright actually. Then we have a flute, or what is supposed to be a flute. I know, and I'm almost sure that this was a synth. So let's listen to the flute, and I'm gonna actually, you will hear the difference between no plugins and plugins. And originally this sound has had these other plugins that I think they work well. I think I changed a little bit, but not much, to be honest. And you can hear the sound here is blow lead, in case you want to use it. But let's hear it with the parts that we have so far. Let's go with the violin section. Let me take this off. I put a lot of delay on this one. I put which I love actually, I mentioned that before, the Quantec, the cubicle, and I just expanded. You're gonna hear it. Let me put it on. So this is without any okay, now some delay. But you can see it's more in the middle range here. But also I added the Quantec. I was listening to the track. I couldn't find any separated tracks on this, and it was difficult to really find the exact notes for this, but I mean, let me know in the comments if it seems right. I'm pretty sure you're gonna have comments on that. So let's start first with this. This is the original recording from the Juno-60. But now let's listen to this. And in the double, I used a little different plugins. I used the overdrive and the N-verb. The overdrive, I always like to use it because I think it gives more body to the sound, and it also gets more present in the track. So and since I'm using the N-verb, it can get lost. But what I did actually was, again, like doubling the sound, and we can hear it together. So I think it sounds really nice. So we have that part. Then we have this other that I actually double as well. These are the part of the verses of the song. And for this, I use the retro synth. So if you're going to recreate this track, retro synth is going to be your best friend. And I noticed the bass is not exactly as the original song. It has a little more kind of high frequencies. But I like the sound on this one. And I just added a little overdrive, a little sub bass to give it a little more body, and the phaser. So this is the original track without any effects. Now, I use also the Mellotron for this violin sections, so you're gonna listen to it. You hear that there's an arrangement there, pam 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 pam, and again there's like little sections in this track that you really have to listen carefully if you don't have the stems or the separated tracks. And that is that part. It actually sounds very different if you don't have any effects. Okay, we have this part, and then we have very just like a little arrangement in this part that is instead of having this sound, here stays actually, and I added this because I think it sounds good in this part of the song. But then here, if you hear the original track, you're gonna hear that it's a very similar sound, but it's more settled, more soft. Drums, you listen already what I did with LinnDrum, and there was a lot of effects. This is like, it has a lot of mostly like reverbs and tons of reverbs. You're gonna hear it. I added a compressor, EQ, overdrive. So let's go first with this. Here starts to listen very decent. Now let's go with the tambourine. here I just added a delay, tape delay. Now we have this. Then we have the hi-hat. This is an approximation as well. There's a lot of variation in this. A little bit of reverb, phaser, then the chroma, very wet as you can hear, and then I noticed that this is way open, so I spread it. And then we have the crash. So let me show it to you without reverb and phaser too. Let's add the overdrive. Now let's add the Quantic. Super long crash. Then we have the toms. And that was it. So I added again like the drum chamber, and I took it a little bit, and overdrive, and also space reverb. And that's it. So as you can see, this track is no joke. Okay, now let's listen to the complete track.
watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done so. I see a lot of people actually watching the channel, and that's amazing, but it will help me a lot if you just click that subscribe button. I'm not gonna send you tons of notifications, so don't worry about that. And it will help me a lot to keep making videos like this, because it is a lot of time consuming. Actually, this track took me more than 3 days. It was a difficult song, and I had a lot of fun making it, but your support means a lot. So please, if you haven't done it, do it. And if you want me to recreate another song, please leave it in the comments of this video. Thank you so much again, and see you in another nostalgic exploration.